Hi, I'm Skip Bedell, and this is the Men's Manual, all the things your father should have taught you. In this episode, we'll be talking with MMA icon and legend of the sport, Tito Ortiz, in part 2 of this special edition, How to Have a Winner's Mindset. But before we dive in, our girl Stephanie Haney has all the details on why we should be listening to Tito's advice.
Thanks, Skip. No one knows more about overcoming challenges than today's interview guest, Tito Ortiz. His run from 2000 to 2003 as the UFC light heavyweight champion was until recently a record. He defended his title 5 times, making him one of the biggest pay-per-view draws of all time. But before all that, he had to go through some stuff to get there, including several major surgeries and a longer losing streak than he would have liked. But despite those obstacles, the Huntington Beach bad boy and People's Champion has consistently come out on top. He talked to Skip and the team in Vegas to let us know how he continues to get it done. Let's listen.
Tito Ortiz, man.
What
is up, my brother? Thank you so much for sitting with me, man. So I gotta ask you, dude, I know coming up through the UFC, coming up as a wrestler, having all the success in your life, you know, you gotta have a couple of tips for some of the young guys coming up through the ranks, just things that you can kind of give to people for a tip for success.
You know, a tip to success is always stay humble. Never step on anybody, get ahead, and always work harder each and every day. And be honest when you work. I think that's the biggest thing. And I mean, once again, I gotta go back to being humble. I watch a lot of people who get such high standards of acting or fighting, and all of a sudden they lose it because it gets lost in the stars. You don't want to do that. Be humble, stay humble, and I think that's what makes a gentleman and makes a hard worker.
A couple questions that come to mind. I know you've achieved tremendous success in career, like as much, if not more, than anybody else in the sport. But even going ahead as far as a businessman and now getting into some other avenues. I know you're doing some acting coming up now and some movies. What's that like, man?
I've had a great opportunity. Once again, it goes back to just having opportunities to take advantage of opportunities through my career, and I've worked hard for them. And when I've had an opportunity to do these things, do them by being humble, treat other people around me the way I want to be treated. And I've had a lot of people go like, man, you're an easy person to work with. And it's nice to work with you. And I think that's what makes it easier. I'm never complain. I'm always a person willing to work my butt off no matter what and do what they want me to do.
Just be grateful, right? It's like, you know, being grateful for everything is a huge lesson I learned from my dad, you know, because like nothing is given to you in life. You know, no matter where you come from, some people come from different backgrounds and got it what you might think is easier, but really at the end of the day, you make your own way in the world, you know? And as a man, as a young man coming up, we find that so much in life is competitiveness, you know, whether it's like trying to get the job promotion or really anything in life, you feel like you're always competing, you know? So tell me, like, even though you've achieved tremendous success, as far as like maybe one time where you had a big defeat, right? Like maybe your worst defeat, maybe a thing that like kind of spun you back on your heels, and what was that like coming off of that, and how did it change you moving forward?
You know, I guess I'd have to go with a fight that I had. I was having back problems at the time. I fought Machida, and I lost to Machida, and I had really bad back problems. I ended up getting surgery. And I was sitting in bed after about 2.5 months of just being in pain all the time and just going, what do I need to get myself going? And I said, you know what, suck it up, get into physical therapy and start doing your physical therapy. I started doing it every single day, and I worked. It went from weeks to days to hours to start feeling better. It was just the hard work I put into it, so it was good.
Like mindset coming out of that though, it's like you had to pull yourself out of like that hole. I mean, like
yeah, I had to pull myself out of the hole, but at the same time, it was just being positive thoughts. Everything, I just surround myself with positive people, having positive thoughts and knowing that I could do it. Never said I couldn't do it. Always thought in my mind, how am I going to get that goal done? Or, you know, and that's the things that I did through my life. I was lucky. I've been very, very lucky.
I know wrestling, like being a wrestler myself as a kid coming up, and it's like it's one of those sports. I think if not the best sport to instill discipline in you and really that work ethic. Yeah. And I find so many young people coming up today, even my son and even his friends, I see a lot of young people, they don't feel like they have that work ethic really that, you know, maybe people had in earlier generations.
You know, I think so too. I mean, as a kid, I used to hustle fish on the pier in Newport Beach just to make lunch money ends. You know, it's just crazy. And then as I got into wrestling showed me how to dedicate myself, how to work hard and do the things to sacrifice to become better in wrestling. Got on varsity. Then I just put myself through college, became a fighter, and I just tailor-made that into fighting as I did in wrestling. It was just hard work and dedication and sacrifice things to become great, and I was able to do that through fighting. So now the next step is do theatrical roles. Is that what I really want to do? And yes, it is. So I think it's just jumping head first and going 100%. I can't do both. You couldn't be a fighter and an actor at the same time. So I think it's separating from each other and just strictly doing acting. I think I should do very, very well.
You're going to move right forward, man. You're going to be the champ of that too, brother.
I hope so, man. I hope so.
I got one more quick question for you. Talking about defeat and how did that change you? Think about maybe the biggest victory, the one that you knew, like, you know what, this one, but I made it. I'm on top now. I know, like, you know, that was the one that put you over the top. And what did you do maybe differently for that one that made that happen?
Well, the one that sticks right off the top of my head is fighting Ryan Bader. He was number 4 in the world at the time. I was on a five-fight losing streak. I was in a bad place, and I kind of said enough's enough. I weeded out the negative people around me, and I worked really, really hard, and I just dedicated myself to it. We got to the weigh-ins, and I made them flinch, and I go, I got this kid. But it really happened through the hard work I put in prior. You know, I didn't take any days off. I busted my butt. I surrounded myself with great people, and I just think success happens through hard work and dedication. And when that fight was over, I was just happy that I was able to walk away with my hand raised and be the number 5th guy in the world.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's funny that you said that because so many people we've spoken to today said the same thing. Surrounding yourself with the right kind of people, you know, having that positive mental attitude. And for me, that PMA to me is like a thing I say to all the time. I say it to my wife and all my friends. Positive mental attitude can change everything in your whole life, whether you're a fighter or, you know, anything.
You're a person in general, it'll change your life completely. You surround yourself with great people and you stay positive no matter what. Don't indulge yourself in saying, oh, I did this wrong, I did that wrong. Think of, well, how can I do that better? And that, I mean, I come from a coaching background where I wanted to be a coach in high school wrestling. I always treated a kid as like, how do we gotta make it better? I never told the kid, you're doing horrible, stop that. I always said, all right, come on, what do we gotta do to prevail and be better the next time we do it? And I think I've done the same thing through my life and through my career, and I'm teaching it on to my children.
Thank you so much for your time, brother, man.
Awesome, man. Pleasure, man.
Good luck with everything, bro.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Tito Ortiz. Thanks for joining us here on the Men's Manual. Tune in next time when we talk to UFC heavyweight champion in the world, Stipe Miocic. We'll see you next time.
Don't forget, subscribe.